So, because after this, we've got a big webinar with IdeaCon in Illinois, and we've got breakout rooms. So it's going to be a big challenge, that
Good.
one. But
So you want to share your screen right now?
yeah. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Right. So with the lesson, it's sort of called Digging for Data on Mars.
We can only see your desktop. We can't see APP or anything.
No, I've just got the. Have you got the Digging for DAS?
No, we can see your OBS and everything.
Okay, stop presenting. Let's just do this again.
On screen.
So I'll just do the tab.
This is a good warm up for your
Yeah.
next section.
Right, can you see that now?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I'll just switch between tabs, I think. So if I go here, you can see my Blockly tab.
No.
Oh,
You're not sharing the whole screen, just sharing an app now.
okay, I did do this. Right, stop presenting. Let's try
Third
again,
time,
your
bud.
entire screen. Oh, I think this is the one. Got too many screens here. Right. Now?
Yeah, that's better.
And you can see both of them. Okay, awesome. All right. So if we just look at the lesson, so basically we're just going to do a couple of sort of different activities. And the first one is where they're on Mars, and it's basically going to be the ice is melting when the sun is sort of up. So we're going to use a light sensor, which is going to sort of reflect on the solar farm. And then when the light comes up, that's going to melt the ice. Now our ice is going to be represented with like a water bottle. They're going to pick up the water bottle. There's going to be a fire at the fuel tanks, and and they're going to then put the fire out with a water bottle that they then move around. So that's sort of the scenario of how much energy do we use with light. You can then go and look at your light sensor and the data that you can then export. This is then the second one. Your ice cube can then grow when the moisture sensor goes up. You can then look at the data for that. And then we're going to put the fire out at the fuel storage. And as ST standards aligned. And then you can look at the QR viewer and things like that. So that lesson is sort of ready. We're just about to upload that, but I thought it's quite a nice one for us to look at. So I just need to remember which robots, but it probably doesn't matter too much. Okay. Right. So Bruce, please just jump in anytime that you want me to stop. You can see our map. We've got 3 robots is currently on, robot 9, 11, just going to line them up here, and 12. I'm going to switch this robot off for now.
Please, can you set me up as a student?
Yeah, I think I have. Bruce, if you go in as robot, I'll give you the light sensor, which is robot 9.
I've got all this. Oh, yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll save you. And then I'll just go here. We've got a robot 11. Well, but I'm just, so I've got these 3 robots right now. So if students jump in, those green lights will come on because you'll be able to see that your students is on, but only Bruce is going to be on for this. Okay, so we've got our map with our 3 robots. Now, if I want to go and check and add some sensors, I go to my little robot icon over here, which is this little robot. And now robot 9, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put it on this side first, and then I'll switch back to the camera and Bruce can probably, and I'll show you what it looks like on the robot.
So
So you go to robot.
all the sensors are on the box colored yellow or green.
Mhm.
So you just got to follow this color coordination. And then on the back of the robot, you've got the yellow or green port as well.
Okay.
So that means you just you can plug in one yellow or one green as well.
Yeah. So it's not robot 9, got offline. Got a new phone, and it's really not a happy phone. Bruce, that's your robot that's now gone offline.
I think I'm running the same. Let me just log in as
Student.
I think it's because I'm running a same classroom and we haven't put in.
Yeah. Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll come to robot 12, and robot 12 is going to be our moisture sensor. So, Dean, I click on the green because at the box it also told me the moisture sensor is a green one, and then you plug it in the back, and I'll come back to you. So, I click on my green icon over here. Now, you can either search for your sensor up here and just go temp. And there we go, got a temperature. I click on it, it says save, and now the robot is saved. So when I close this, you will see robot 12 has got the humidity sensor on board there.
Okay.
So if I come back here and I just want to stop presenting, you will see, as Bruce was saying, at the back, oh, where's my camera? At the back, there is a yellow and green. The green goes into the green. The white goes into the sensor. And then there's a little clip, and you just clip it on the back.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So now robot 12 is set up. Can you see? So let me just try and focus.
Okay.
So the green goes into the green port at the back. The white goes into the sensor. Clip it on as long as the sensor is not covering any of the QR code. So now robot 12 is set up. So if I'm putting back on the mat and I share my entire screen again.
I'm sharing, sorry.
Sorry, Bruce, you need to jump off because I'm just going to go on to 12. Are you sharing, Bruce, or what are you doing?
No, you're sharing your screen.
Okay. Can you see it? Oh, you've knocked me out. Oops. Okay, let's just go back in. I think when Bruce is as a student, he went in as a teacher as well, so then it will knock the teacher out.
Naughty student.
Okay, here we go. Right, just want to go and find my project quickly. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, go. So if I now click on robot 12, you will see down here at the bottom, it's showing my temperature and humidity. So if I actually breathe on my sensor, it should show up just now. It's really cold. Any reaction? Let me have a look of the ultrasonic distance sensor. I can see that's affected. Oh, okay. There's a tiny little bit of activity. You can see the humidity is 95, but the temperature is still pretty chilly here, although I've got my heater on. Okay, so that's robot 12. Now, Bruce, can you, I don't know why my robots are not coming on.
Can I take over?
Yeah.
Thank you. Is it create, is it?
It's create. Are you going to go in as teacher or student?
Teacher.
Teacher. Okay, you go as teacher. So he's just going to log me out just because my robot, I've got a new phone that is not behaving here.
Okay, so now we've got the sensor added with the green and yellow. Just go on here. Okay, so I can see Renel's robot 12 coming in here. Now the cool thing about using sensors in Kai's clan is that you can like embed sensor data with other data. And what I mean by that is you can make something fly, you can make robots turn a particular direction based on sensor data. You can nest some code in some other code. All the sensors are included under bits. Now, if we want to get the sensors that Renel's been using, we need to go to expert mode on the code and then go down to bits again. Now, the robot itself has some built-in kind of sensors, like the distance sensor on its eyes, and that's what we call on board. So the sound it makes, the lights, the distance sensor, that's all inside the robot. Anything that we attach to the outside is obviously underneath this category. So sound, sight, environmental, action, and BBC microbit.
Sorry, Bruce, I'm just going to change phones over quickly. I'm going to use my phone. Okay.
Can you just leave that for a moment because I'm using your robot?
Okay.
So what we've got is what Renel's done is done a temperature sensor. So we'll find the temperature data under environmental. But we can also, like Renel did, she clicked on robot 12, and down here you can page through the different sensors that are available on the robot. Okay. So now we've got this block here which says, if I'll zoom in a bit more, it says read add-on temperature humidity sensor. So that particular sensor gives off two types of data. It gives off temperature and it also gives off humidity as well. Temperature is very difficult to change. You know, it's a gradual thing. It's not something that happens instantaneously. It takes quite a lot of effort to change the air temperature. So you could have like a little heater on the side of your mat and then turn that on, and one kid can be monitoring the temperature on the side of the mat from that heater coming off it and go, well, the sun's coming up in Mars, we've got to move to another location, you know, we've got to take cover because it's too violent. So what we can do is on any of the coding blocks inside Kai's clan, we normally have this dark color and then a light pink color. Now what this light pink color means is that you can insert other blocks into it. So for instance, let's say we just go as robot 12, set the angle to 45. So if I just run that, that's going to turn, what's it going to do? Did that work? I think, oops, fix errors. And I've got some other code sitting in the background. So let me just get rid of this because it's part of the lesson. Okay, so if I say run this code now Renel's robot should move to 45 degrees. There we go. It's now at 45 degrees. But now we want to use sensor data. I could then say, I can now drop that block in and say, turn to robot 12's humidity value. Now, the current humidity value is 91%. I don't know what this is going to give us, but I'm expecting it should be probably 91 degrees maybe. Because it's a percentage, it's a bit difficult to know what it's going to do. So what we could do is say, okay, well, we don't know how that value is being represented because it's a percentage. So we could use the console log. So printing something to our log is a really good way of understanding what's going on. So I'm going to say print robot 12's humidity value to the log. And now if we open up the log here, we can see the value is undefined. Let's see up here, undefined. So what this means is that it's not a text block. So this gets a little bit more complicated. Let me try and do something else instead of that degrees, because what we've got is a problem of integers and numbers happening. So let's go and do something else. Print. Let's do this. Put it as a text block, and then no. Because it's trying to print it as a number. Substring. Oh, here we go. I think it's this one. The text. Like that. Okay, so now it's 9. The value is 91. So that should have moved the robot to the angle of 91. Let's just put that whole thing in there. That. No, still doesn't like that set angle 91. I don't know why. It's the first time I've tried that one. Okay. Let's try something else. Let's try a move to see if this one works with it. So if we move to position 91, okay, that's why. So it's giving us a, what's the error message?
You've got robot 3, which
robot 12.
Yeah. The robot 12 has got the humidity sensor. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, that's working. So it's going to try and move off the mat to position, what was it? X 91. So it faced the right way then. Okay, this is not a good session. Sorry, but what I'm trying to get at is that you can use data, and especially in Sandbox, it's really good. So we can also use that data in Sandbox. So if we open up the virtual view, that to load. And now if we say robot 12, which one?
First, do you want to load a avatar?
30 seconds and counting.
Two robot 10s on.
Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25.
Okay, so that robot 12 there. Yep, robot 12.
By the way, Dean, I've got this session recorded as well. So I will send you a link to this whole lesson plan. It has been recorded before, so I'll send that to you as well.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, so 12.
Yeah, for some reason, I'll have to get our developers check out that humidity value is not giving us an integer to be able to turn. So,
Do you want me to change it to a light sensor?
yes, please. Yeah, yeah.
It's all set on my other robot. I don't know why.
So first step is actually physically attaching, and then the next step is going to like where the yellow, green, red signs are and adding,
Yeah.
selecting it.
So
and
now,
that's remember.
so now basically what I've done, so I'm coming back to robot 12, and you'll see now I've got my light sensor. It is now physically connected to the robot, and now Bruce is going to go on the computer, choose the light sensor, save it. Mine has said beep beep, means it's now on. So if he now goes back to the map, and we now click on robot 12, you will see it's got the light sensor of 83%. So if I go and put my finger over it, you'll see it's coming down to 35. So all I've done is I've just covered it with my finger.
So
Okay,
now
so
on the
Bruce, now
on
you
the
can go and
coding
use,
blocks, we can
Yeah.
go to. Would that be under site maybe? Oh no, environmental.
environmental. Yeah.
So add on light sensor, and I'm just going to try that thing because I'm really interested why that angle thing is not working. So where is it? Math movement, set angle to read robot 12. Robot 12. So set robot 12's angle to the value of the light sensor this time, which should be 83. That one's working. Okay, I'll get the developers to check that. That's yeah, okay. So now if we look at the angle, you can see it's 77, so it's nearly got there. If I run it again, it'll get better and better each time. So you can actually see the real angle of the robot and the angle of the light sensor. So I could have all the kids like turning to a particular angle based on, you know, the light sensor, and that's sunrise, and you could have a kid, you know, then all the robots can change angle to sunset kind of thing. But we can also again do things like changing the sun color. So you're familiar with if, you know, like logic commands, Dean?
Yeah.
Yep. If we go and put a logic in, now we'll need to do this in a loop. We click the little gear icon, and we can put an else in there,
Okay.
and then we can say logic.
So like you could do like if it was a certain amount of light, move this way or move that way, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So we could do that. So we could say, where's our light sensor gone? Hiding behind here? No. Oh, there. Get a math block. So if it, let's go 80, then change the sun color in the virtual world to black, and I might have this the wrong way around, and change the light to white, and then we could also have the robot turn left by 45 degrees, and this gives us a good indication. That's a left. Turn right. Okay, and now I've got this in a loop, so it's going to constantly be running. So robot 12, change sun color, robot 12. Okay, so if I run this now.
So because it's 80, it's going to turn left, is that correct?
Okay, so the sun color is now white. And at 80, so at 81%, so can you change the light? So, yep.
Okay, so now it's black because it's 81%. Why is it just doing itself?
because it's at the threshold amount.
Okay, so if I cover it, oh,
So
right, to move.
so yeah, we've got the wrong way around. So it should be black and then white. Yep.
Yeah, it keeps turning.
So if you take your finger off the light sensor now, then it's going to go black.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Then it keeps turning. So it's a really nice way to actually use that physical sensor then in the virtual world. I mean, at the moment we're just changing the sun color, but you can actually, we've got these little gripper objects with a QR code. So I think you've got sort of something similar. Hi, have you got one of these?
No.
Okay, if you build out of Lego, or have you got a 3D printer?
Possibly. I think our tech.
Possibly. Okay. I'm going to send you this file anyway. If you can print it out, it's quite fun because you'll see it's got a little hole. We put a little chocolate in, put it in the middle, and then we say, right, go and pick this up for the students when they just start coding. So I'll send you this file as well. Otherwise, you can just, build a little bit of Lego blocks. And in your classroom pack, you'll see there's your robot stickers. And there's also a 105 and 106. Just use one of those stickers.
Now
But you can now, sorry.
You've got access to all the QR codes as well. So if you click on this, print. So this is under the sandbox control.
I've used that. I was actually able to build some things in Tinkercad and bring them in. I wanted to have asteroids. So I was actually able to build the asteroids, bring them in, attach it to the QR. But it would be cool if I could print them. So I got to look into that next year.
Yeah. So you can assign that. That means then you can assign anything to one of those codes. Now,
well, Bruce, just show that. That's quite a nice thing. So you've done your asteroid. So just allocate like anything, like we've got an asteroid or a world or something to this, and then grow it, make it go bigger. As we do the ultrasonic sensor. So as the asteroid comes closer to Mars, maybe it grows because it comes bigger using the ultrasonic distance sensor. I know Bruce absolutely hated when I throw these curveballs.
What I'm going to do actually is I'm going to use the light sensor, and I want to do a virtual graph using the light sensor. So there's this block under load 3D model called spawn 3D model. This allows, so if I just run, let me just run that block. Let me just run this. So I can choose what to spawn. So let's say fire. And if I and it's just for 2 seconds, let me just do 10 seconds. So if I just run that code, we should see a fire. There we go. So you can see a fire has been spawned. I can't click on it, but right at the back there, if we go, there we go. You saw it appear just briefly. So with this thing, it's quite cool because what we can do is we can actually graph maybe the light sensor value and see how it goes. So what I'll do is I'll set up a loop. Where we go? Let's clear all this. So loops. Count to, now we know the matter's got 80 cells across it, and we're going to count up by 1, and we're going to create a bit of a delay after each one has been done. So I'll just snap that in there, and then we're going to use so it's counting I, which is a variable, so we're going to use a variable, and that's going to be our y-axis. So the x-axis on our graph is going to be the light sensor from robot 12, and the y-axis is going to be our the variable counting 1 to 80. Is that clear, Dean?
Yeah.
Okay, and we're going to have.
So it will take a reading at
each of the cells, and it's going to go along. So let me just go to home here and just get a top-down view before I run the code. Okay, so if we run this code now, we should see drops of fire. Oh, Renal, can you cover the sensor quickly? And then slowly, I want you to pull your finger away from the sensor. Okay, it's R2D2s we've got. And now slowly pull your finger away. Very slowly though, because we're graphing this. And if I look at the graph here, you can see how that, because we've got the mountains and the terrains, it's not helping our graph because all the objects are falling down. But you can, if we switch it over to, let me just switch it over to this environment. At least this is flat. So all the objects are falling now and it's graphing. So can you slowly change the values, Renel?
Not hard, I'm trying.
Oh, because it's in a loop, it's continuing around. So we should just run it once. So if I take this out, let's just put the
You
fire
want me to
back.
cover it?
No, I'll just do it like this. I'll just do a linear graph so it's easier to understand. So if I run this now and do it once only, we'll have just the linear graph going up. So you can see it starts from the corner and goes up.
So they can create like a firewall.
Yeah.
We change the time to say 0.2 seconds, then much quicker as well.
And you'll actually see there's a lesson under projects called sine waves, how to create a sine wave. And this is what we've used as the spawning of then creating that sine wave on the mat.
Okay. That's wild.
So that spawn thing is quite good for representing data.
Yeah.
Any questions then so far?
No, I'm just trying to absorb it.
It's a lot to do. But I think, like I said at the beginning, the takeaway is, really the power of Kai's clan is the ability to drop other blocks inside other blocks, so whatever it is, so if it's under sandbox, you got transform, so you can make things bigger or smaller based on sensor data and things like that.
Okay.
So that's the kind of, now whatever sensor you use, you've got different you're going to have obviously different data. So if we go through the sensors,
can you talk about the water pump briefly, Bruce, or do you want me to?
Yeah, no, I can do that. Yep.
Have you got a water pump there? Because the water pump is the only one that's a little bit different, where you actually take out the PCB. There is a lesson in the projects as well, how to water my plant.
Okay.
And that's really good, where you can use sort of two robots, one with a moisture sensor and then another robot at the relay water pump. So then I can put the moisture sensor maybe in a pot plant or in your veggie garden and say, if the moisture gets below 20% on robot 1, robot 2 activate the water pump.
I still think that's crazy.
So that's the physical thing, and then you can jump into the virtual world and say, now robot 1 is the pot plant and robot 2 is a lake or whatever, a pond, And then in the virtual world, you'll be able to see how that then sort of fills up, because you can then make it grow, like the way Bruce was sort of, grow it in your, scale it up in your sandbox.
So we use that on the Mars mat. We get one of the QR codes as an iceberg, or the ice fields in Mars, and then you can use a heater on the side of the mat again. And when you're detecting temperature, then they can, if the temperature goes up, then we can shrink the iceberg. And it's a really good lesson about, not just on Mars, but locally.
Mm-hmm.
So just quickly to go over the other sensors. So this is just a on-off LED. It's just an on-off, so you can only turn it on or turn it off. Great for like traffic light type projects where you want to indicate something's happened or a condition has been met. You can just turn that light on. This is a 4 RGB strip light, so each light can be individually controlled. Some of the sensors, we refer to these sensor bits as inputs and outputs. Some are not just inputs, some are also outputs, like these LED lights. A buzzer, obviously you've got a buzzer built into the robot. You don't really need this buzzer, but it's good. Infrared emitter. Now what this does is it sends infrared signals the same way a TV remote does. Okay, so just like your TV remote, it can send 1, 2, 3, the numbers of your TV remote to something that's going to receive it. Now we do have a IR receiver down here as well, so you could actually get two robots to communicate with each other by infrared. I mean, it's a very analog way of doing it, but it's a great lesson on, how do you get the other robot. This robot's got to tell the other robot to move forward, and we can do it via infrared. The relay, like Renelle was saying about the water pump, just don't get the circuit board. This comes with a little circuit board as well. Just don't get the circuit board wet or the robot wet. But otherwise, this is a submersible pump. You just put it inside water, and it'll just pump away. Sometimes it can get an airlock, so it just needs a little bit of help to get started. But then, yeah. This is just a white LED, nothing special. This is a in-ground temperature sensor.
That's not included in the box.
That's not included in the
That's
kit.
coming.
This is the temperature and humidity. Obviously, we've covered that. IR receiver, a switch, an on-off switch. You can use this to trigger some code. You could use it to get the whole classroom moving. Whatever you inject this code into your main code, you can have this switch activate and get something to happen. Like you might say it's DEFCON 5 and you push the switch and then it changes a classroom variable, so all the kids know that we're at that alert level and they've got to then do something.
Bruce, on this event mode, there's also continuous mode. Is that correct?
Yeah, I will cover this. Continuous means obviously it's continuous. So what's happening then, you would have to set up a loop to constantly monitor if the button has been pressed. So you'd set up a loop, if button pressed, then do something, right? So that's a continuous mode. In event mode, you've seen the blue main code block that we have. We have run, loop, and events. Right, so this is where you would insert a button event into the events, and that's going to interrupt your main code, so you don't have to set up a whole loop to monitor it. You can say once a button's pressed, it's going to trigger an event. It's going to interrupt your main code, and it's going to run whatever, and I'll show you just now. Hall sensor is used to detect magnetic field. Another great one on the Mars mat. You can say, hey, you've got to try and mine the magnets of Mars and try and detect where they are. You could put a magnet, a strong magnet underneath the Mars mat and hide it somewhere, and then they've got to figure out how they can use Lego to build. They can use Lego to build off the roof rack and to hold the sensor down low facing the ground to try and sense where the magnet is under the map. It's a bit of a challenging lesson, that I'll do it later. Vibration. You know, I think the other thing, Dean, is you don't have to have the robots on the mat. You can take the circuit boards out of the robot. So you simply just hold the robot, the wheels, the side panel, and the clear on the side like this, and then grab it and pull the roof away. Then you can unplug all these cables, and you can then, you can then take the circuit board around with you. You don't have to have it in the robot. And using stuff like vibration, so then a student could have the circuit board in their pocket and then go and do a dance, and then you could then graph, how much vibration there was. The same thing for a tilt switch. We've got, again, continuous and event mode, and the tilt switch would notify you once there's been a tilt. There's like a little ball inside the switch, and then it activates if it's tilted. Similar to a knock sensor detects if there's been a bang, so you could do earthquake simulations or something like that with a vibration or the knock sensor. Touch sensor, it's going to be overwhelming for you, this whole thing. Touch sensors, obviously, if somebody touches the pad, you can use it like a switch to say, okay, it's been switched on or switched off. PIR motion sensor, you probably have one right in the top corner of your room, which is your alarm panel. And if you walk into a room while the alarm's on, it's going to set off the alarm. This is a really good one. It's very sensitive, so any motion inside the room, it will then activate an alarm. So you can make your own alarm panels, but it's not going to work if you've got 30 kids in a classroom. Or you could say to them, keep still and see how long we can keep the alarm off before it gets detected, which is quite difficult to do. Collision sensor's just got a little switch on it. So again, same thing as a switch. I don't think we include that one.
We've got a collision sensor, but we don't have. Yeah, do you have collision?
I think some of these ones, IR reflective sensor, I don't think we have that
No.
one in the box. Rotary angle sensor, I don't.
Got moisture and light sensor.
Yeah, moisture sensor is really good for the plant watering. This is a probe again, so you stick the copper part completely into soil, not the red part, not the circuit board, and that will measure the amount of moisture there is in a plant. And then you could say, okay, well, the plant's really dry, let's water the plant.
Mm-hmm.
Light sensor is what we showed you earlier, turning off the lights and then having some condition trigger it. Water sensor could be used to obviously detect how much water is across the pads. I don't think we include that one. No. Sound sensor, is that included? Sound sensor.
Yeah, it is.
Now, sound sensor, is that just I think that's just the amount of noise in the classroom. Handy one to have.
So when you're doing stuff like the, like for example, the plant thing, so that you don't have to do that on the mat?
No, not at all. No, not at all.
And it'll still record that information?
Most definitely. So, you can always do stuff off mat. So these robots that are sitting off the mat, they're still active. So Renal, can you just turn over robot 12 or take robot 12 off the mat? So now you can see robot 12's down here, and that's still giving us data. As long as it can communicate to the phone, it's communicating via Bluetooth to the phone. As long as it can do that, then you're fine.
Okay.
And then what else? Oh, I was going to show you the lesson for the plant watering, which is really good. Let's have a look. What's that under, Renal? Is that under?
I think it's community. Yep.
Community. Eyes lesson, I think it is. No, where is it? Community. I thought we had a special one.
There, plant watering.
Oh, right in my face. Okay, so this one with the lesson plan here, it's pretty good. It's got lots of photographs, shows you how to lift up the lids, shows you how to take off the wires and how to mount. So the only thing is the water pump does get connected directly to the circuit board via this, and that disables the grippers. So it's the cable that the grippers are used, and then it shows you like what you put into the soil and the water pump.
Okay.
Any questions?
No.
It's just to go and have a play around. I mean, even your lesson that you did with asteroids, I thought that was brilliant. And you were going to send it to me. I think you said you were going to share it at some stage once it's got, and then we can upload it.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of like did stuff on the fly, so I'm going to put it together. And I'm actually hoping I put in an RFP for our nice gate that's in November and FETC in January next year for like a bunch of robots. And so this is one of the things that I'm planning on showing. So I'll have all of that. Like I'll figure it all out. It'll look pretty.
Well, that would be fantastic. I mean, we'll be at FETC, so if you want any help, we can pop over and come and help you at the presentation. So yeah, those kind of things is so valuable for us as well, Dean. So yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll let you know what happens, and it'll be nice because I'll have like a dry run if I get into Nice Gate too. So that's this year in November. So, but yeah, so I didn't want to break anything. So I just wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing before I tried. And I'm hoping to have some time when I'm doing summer school, because I'm actually doing like 2 different programs. And one of them is I'm working with special ed, and I can do anything I want with them. So I'm going to bring some robots over, and depending on the level, their ability level, like it'll just depend what I do, So I thought it would be a good opportunity to try some other stuff too. So
awesome. Well, I'll send you the gripper object, that little thing. I'll send you that file, and I'll send you the recording of the digging for Mars, or digging for data on Mars. We've actually done a recording of that, a webinar, so you can then, that's probably going to be a little bit more clearer. Otherwise just ask any questions. We can do another session. There's still microbits, so there's still a lot that we can do with GuySclad. You're not going to get bored with GuySclad. I want you just to use GuySclad, but all those other robots in the cupboard, just use GuySclad.
Yeah, I know, you don't even, there's so much to it. So like onion peel, like layer at a time. That's all I can handle.
No, that's good. Thank
all right,
you
well,
so
good
much.
luck today with your stuff. Good luck. I'm gonna go head home and probably deal with children and dinner and all that fun stuff.
All right, Bruce, will you stop recording, and then we'll send this recording